that, got a 911 emergency calls, but currently call town clear and come to that location.
Copy, will advise you.
Baker 10, go 97.
Baker 10, copy, make it the north side.
Lincoln 3.
Go ahead.
My entry team will have Sandoval, Lewis, and Murphy.
Copy, thanks.
Making entry through the back door east side.
Copy on the back door east side.
We have 2 down.
I copy, 2 down.
I think all those people moved. I don't see them anymore. There was a whole bunch of people right here.
797 on Waterman. Who is that?
I'll be making entry in a minute on the south side of the building. I have 3 units with me from Fontana PD.
Copy.
Motor 297.
We have several down in the conference room, several down, several medically.
10-4.
Lincoln 3, we have victims, multiple victims, I need more east side.
Lincoln 3, you're breaking up. You want them on the east side?
Affirm. We'll have 2 entry teams making entry here. Give me one more entry team with us on the east side.
Copy, I need one more team on the east side.
Valley, where is it?
1365 South Waterman at Inland Regional Center.
Everybody cover. 1 Charlie 5.
1 Charlie 5, Baker 10 and Sam 1 are on the east side.
1 Charlie 5, Baker 10 and Sam 1 on the east side.
Sam 97, have them give me a staging point, and I need a staging point for medical aid.
Copy.
Waterman, please. Emergency vehicles only on Waterman.
Everybody covered. Sam 20, copy. Emergency vehicles only on Waterman. Where did you want it shut off?
Give me a location south and north of this area, but tell them I need emergency vehicles only to come through here. I need rescue personnel and fire.
Copy.
Just we'll get SO to take care of that.
The north side.
Units covered. Give me coming out the north side.
1365 South Waterman, 1365 South Waterman, Inland Regional Center. X-ray 4.
Units on scene that we will be arriving in a UC Nissan pickup truck, black in color, full 5.
Sorry, the color?
Black.
Copy.
To Sam 16, I'm blocking off Waterman and Parkview.
Sam 16, copy. Lincoln 3, you're unreadable. Try it one more time.
We have at least 20 victims. I need all available.
Lincoln 3, they've been advised.
Last unit. X-ray 6, your traffic. 1365 South Waterman, Inland Regional Center.
Mike, we're milling Waterman. Side, that's where we'll need our first med-aid once we get this cleared.
Lincoln 3, you're breaking again. You want one unit or you want them still staged?
I'm clearing the yards right now.
Units are covering. That was that Ida 27.
What's the issue at Mill and Waterman? I'm clearing the yards right now.
Active shooter, 1365 South Waterman.
I copy negative on clearing in.
17 School Police.
School PD, go ahead.
Emergency, we're going to be at Waterman and Park Center, redirecting traffic southbound.
Okay.
All right, guys, that is a wrap on that audio recording that we had of the law enforcement response. Again, that audio recording happened as the shooting was developing about an hour ago. Again, we first heard reports of a shooting around 11:15 California time, so just about an hour and 15 minutes ago was when this all started. We started getting live coverage of the shooting just about an hour ago, and we've been bringing you these live aerials courtesy of our local station out in Southern California. All right, guys, this is what we know so far. Okay, this shooting took place at the Inland Regional Center. The Inland Regional Center, for the last 45 years, have worked to serve more than 31,000 individuals with developmental disabilities in San Bernardino and Riverside counties. As the largest of the regional centers in the state of California, Inland Regional Center is a nonprofit, private, community-based agency that is proud to help obtain services and support for our constituents. Our core values of independence, inclusion, and empowerment are the foundation that drives all staff and interactions, provisions of services, and program planning processes. Again, that was information from the Inland Regional Center's website. We know that 670 people work at the Inland Regional Center. We know the bomb squad is on scene. The President of the United States has been briefed on this incident. We're hearing reports now that 3 shooters have been confirmed. Police believe at least one of the shooters is still inside, at least as of 15 minutes ago. There are 150 rescue teams on the scene. A robot is inside the building attempting to detonate a device. It's possible that one suspect is on the run in a black SUV. Police believe they know the name and the birthday of at least one of the shooters. And again, this is information that Fox News is reporting via the police scanner out in San Bernardino, California. Now, according to witnesses, the first of 3 suspects just walked into a conference room and started shooting. One source says that a suspect was dressed in tactical gear and just walked into that conference room. We're hearing reports that the shooting happened rapidly across the area. Authorities are working to transport people inside the building to another location. Many people have been extracted from the building, and police are moving them all to a safe location. Alarms did go off inside the building. We're learning that a Christmas party was underway at the time of the shooting inside the building. The suspects are heavily armed, and the Sheriff's Department is saying to avoid this area of San Bernardino. According to one witness, there were bodies lying on the floor, so it's possible that there are more than just 12 deaths. Again, it was about an hour and 20 minutes ago that police first received the call about the active shooting situation. According to a police spokesperson, they do not know if the suspect is still on the scene, and right now police can't confirm how many suspects there are. Now, we know that local news stations out in Los Angeles are saying that there are 3 suspects involved in this shooting. We're hearing reports that authorities will work to find the suspect or suspects, but their priority now is life and treating the victims, making sure that those that are wounded survive this terrible tragedy. As you can see, helicopters arriving to the scene. And from another angle, you can see firefighters, law enforcement trying to figure this out. They are looking for the suspects. They're working to treat those wounded. A very difficult day in Southern California. Now, according to Fox News, a black SUV went away. There's a person of interest inside the SUV. However, that does not necessarily mean that the person of interest is a suspect in this shooting. According to one witness, the SUV did have tinted windows. Again, that is a black SUV that this person of interest fled in. Again, this is a mass shooting in San Bernardino, California. San Bernardino in Southern California, just about 60 miles east of Los Angeles. We're being told that authorities and officers are currently approaching nearby buildings, including homes, while searching for the suspects involved in this terrible shooting. Now, according to tweets that I'm reading, the shooters were armed with rifles. Again, this is unconfirmed information right now, according to Twitter. This is the #1 trend on Twitter right now, hashtag San Bernardino. We know that there are multiple suspects involved, multiple people shot. We're hearing up to 12 people killed. Witnesses are saying that 3 suspects fled in that black SUV. Again, all of this is hearsay right now. We don't have any official information. Obviously, witnesses at the scene speaking with reporters, that is where we're getting our information. People tweeting from the scene. It's obviously very chaotic right now, and as law enforcement said earlier, they are working to preserve human life. Their main priority right now is saving the lives of those who are wounded. They are also working to track down the suspects involved in this mass shooting. All right, guys, in case you are not on Twitter, the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department has been tweeting regularly. They just tweeted about 51 seconds ago saying the scene is still active in San Bernardino. More information to follow. 3 minutes ago, they said anyone with information regarding the active shooter incident in San Bernardino who would like to remain anonymous, call We Tip at 1-800-78-CRIME. Again, authorities encouraging those in the area to stay away from the area of Orange Show Road and Waterman Avenue near Park Center and the surrounding areas remains very active. They're encouraging those out there to avoid the area at all costs. You might be curious, you might want to see what's going on. Stay indoors, watch it on the internet, watch it on TV, but don't put yourself in harm's way. We know 1 to 3 possible suspects involved in this shooting and multiple victims. Again, we don't have any official numbers as far as how many people are confirmed wounded and how many people have confirmed been killed. We're working to get you guys that information right now. All we can tell you is what authorities are officially releasing, as well as what we're hearing from local news sources out in Southern California. One interesting fact, the police response was very quick because police actually had an exercise nearby. They think the suspects weren't expecting such a quick response. Police initial reaction was searching for victims, rapid gunfire, and then nothing. Perhaps because the police reaction was so quick, the black SUV left the scene. We do know that a person of interest is inside that SUV. It's possible that a bomb is inside the building as well. We know that the bomb squad is on the scene. We know that FBI and ATF are on the scene as well. The suspects are on the loose. We are hearing reports of 1 to 3 suspects involved in this shooting. We know that a Christmas party was taking place inside the building. We also know that President Obama has been briefed about this shooting. Again, these are live images coming to us from Southern California, a very active situation, a situation that has been going on for about an hour and a half now in San Bernardino, California, just 60 miles east of Los Angeles. We're also learning that there is a golf course very close to the scene of this shooting. We're being told that no one is being allowed on that golf course. Police encouraging people to stay out of this area in San Bernardino, California. Again, those of you not familiar with Southern California, San Bernardino, considered a part of the greater Los Angeles area, about 60 miles east of Los Angeles. For those of you from the Phoenix area who may travel to Southern California periodically, San Bernardino is a city you pass while traveling on Interstate 10 westbound towards Los Angeles. We're now learning that 3 deaths have been confirmed. Earlier today, we heard that up to 12 people were killed. As of right now, we know that 3 deaths are confirmed, at least 3 people killed. We know that a robot at the scene has detonated the suspicious device that was found inside the building. It was detonated successfully. Again, the FBI and ATF are responding to the shooting. And we are working to get you guys as much information as possible, as this is still a very active scene. The suspects are still on the loose, and it is still a developing story. And for those of you just joining us, don't know too much information about this shooting, this is what we know so far. So the shooting took place at the Inland Regional Center in San Bernardino, California. The Inland Regional Center serves those that are developmentally disabled. We know that 670 people work inside that building serving more than 30,000 people each year. We are being told that there are 1 to 3 suspects. Witnesses describe the suspects as wearing masks, wearing all black, possibly wearing body armor. The suspects are still on the loose. Again, this took place in San Bernardino, which is about 60 miles east of Los Angeles. We're hearing reports of up to 20 people wounded. Earlier, we had reports that 12 people were killed. As of right now, we can confirm that at least 3 people were killed in this shooting. Obviously, we will give you updates as they become available. Right now, police have not held a press conference. Right now, their focus is tending to those victims who are injured, trying to save their lives, and then working to capture the suspects involved in this mass shooting. We are hearing reports from a local news station in Los Angeles that a suspect is still at large. That suspect is heavily armed and wearing body armor. As of right now, police have not given an official description of any of the shooters involved in the San Bernardino shooting. According to authorities, their number 1 priority is human life, then we'll worry about the criminal aspects, according to San Bernardino police. We are hearing confirmed numbers that 3 people dead, multiple people wounded. The search for the shooter or shooters continues. Now, according to witnesses who were inside the building, the suspect walked in and began shooting inside the conference room. As people fell to the ground and fled, they saw bodies on the floor as they exited the building. There were black SUVs seen fleeing the property. Again, the suspect or suspects still at large. This scene is still very active. This shooting started about an hour and a half ago, hour and 40 minutes ago. We first heard reports of the shooting around 11:15 California time. It is now 12:53 in Southern California. Again, the suspects still at large, many people wounded, at least 3 people killed, possibly more. We're working to get you guys more information about this deadly shooting in Southern California. All right, guys, we are learning that police have cleared the airspace. That's why we do not have aerial images anymore. Police may be concerned that someone may be on the roof, could possibly be targeting the helicopter pilots. Now, police say suspects are at large. They are proceeding with caution inside of the building in case someone is still inside. They are telling everyone to be on the lookout in case they see a black Yukon SUV. Again, police describing wardrobe of the suspect as tactical gear. Again, the suspect or suspects heavily armed, wearing body armor. We have not heard any reports that a suspect or suspect has been detained. Still a very active shooting scene. We know that victims have been transferred to the Loma Linda University Medical Center. Loma Linda University Medical Center is in disaster mode, expecting an influx of patients. We know that President Obama has been briefed on the shooting. We know that the shooters are still reported to be at large. One father read a text from his daughter that said, "Shooting at my work, people shot, pray for us." Obviously very emotional for that father. Again, these three shooters, armed with rifles, according to witnesses. Witnesses also say that the active shooters were wearing masks and possibly body armor. I'm learning that the Riverside Sheriff's Department's hazardous device team is arriving to the scene as well. More details on that text message that a daughter sent her father. This is what it read. "People shot in the office waiting for cops. Pray for us. I am locked in an office." Interestingly enough, a black Chevy Yukon SUV has been spotted in a restaurant parking lot. Police are investigating this SUV. Again, many people on scene. Authorities encouraging people in the area to stay away from the area, stay indoors, do not get near the scene of this crime. Again, the scene of this crime being the Inland Regional Center in San Bernardino, California. Also interesting to note, one of the conference rooms inside the building was rented out to a separate group that had nothing to do with the Inland Regional Center employees. Police are now wondering if the group that rented out the Inland Regional Center conference room was a specific target, or if it was just coincidence that those people inside the conference room were not employees of Inland Regional Center. We're hearing that the suspects were wearing military-style attire. Again, the suspect walked in and began shooting inside the conference room. As people fell to the ground and fled, they saw bodies on the floor as they exited the building. Officials are now acknowledging that there were multiple suspects involved, saying that there appears to be multiple shooters. This is the first time that law enforcement has confirmed that there was more than one suspect, so we can confirm multiple shooters involved in this tragic situation.
Are there any other active scenes right now besides this one here?
Not that I've been made aware of.
Okay, again, we have heard up to 12 fatalities. What have you heard?
I haven't been given a number.
Very much. Again, Sergeant Vicky Cervantes with the San Bernardino Police Department. We're here on Waterman, just
For those of you just joining us, this shooting took place at Inland Regional Center in San Bernardino, California. This center served those that are developmentally disabled. 670 employees work inside the building. The building serves 30,000 people each year. The shooting started around 11:15 California time, so about 2 hours ago. However, authorities are still referring to the scene as a very active scene as suspects have not been caught. We know that there are multiple suspects. We're hearing reports of 3 suspects involved in this mass shooting. At least 3 people killed, 20 people injured. Earlier today, we heard of reports of up to 12 people killed. Again, police have not held any official press conference right now, so we don't have official numbers as of right now. Again, this is a developing story, a very active scene in San Bernardino, California. San Bernardino is in Southern California, just about 60 miles east of Los Angeles.
Within minutes.
Within minutes.
I mean,
That's no way to.
yeah, I don't know.
All right, thank you.
I just, and I'm basing that on the radio traffic when I heard it go out, and then it was a short time later there was somebody on scene.
So we don't even know if there's a confirmed suspicious device. That could just be.
Correct.
Okay. Sergeant, if you would just say your name for our record.
Vicky Cervantes.
Okay. And with the San Bernardino Police Department?
Correct.
Okay. I'm going to have you move this way just a little bit. If you would, just tell me what's the latest here on this shooting situation.
It's still an active, fluid situation. Officers are on scene. We're trying to secure the building, make sure we get all of the victims and witnesses out of the building, and again, verify that there are no shooters remaining inside.
So is there an active search inside the building for a shooter that may still be in there?
I believe there may be. I don't know all the details on that, but it is still, until we get everybody out, we do have to verify that.
And how many people were evacuated from the building?
I don't have any numbers.
And from witnesses so far, what have you all been able to piece together as far as how many shooters there may have been?
What I was told is there were multiple shooters. I've heard as little as 1 and up to 3. I heard that at least one of them may have left the location in a black SUV. Yes, I can.
Is that from eyewitness accounts, or what? How did you guys learn about that?
I couldn't tell you. The officers on scene have relayed that to me.
And as I understand it, at this point, there is not a number that's been released as far as fatalities?
That's correct. Okay. All I know is there are multiple casualties, and there are confirmed fatalities.
Okay. And there was reports of an explosive device in the building or near the building. Can you tell us anything about that?
I'm going to grab you. We're about to go live.
I have not been given any information on that.
Was anything detonated, a controlled detonation?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Sergeant. Appreciate it.
I am down the street from the crime scene. With us here is San Bernardino Police Sergeant Vicky Cervantes. What is the very latest?
All right, guys, going to show you these aerials now. These are live aerials coming in. That is a close-up of the building where the shooting took place, the IRC Conference Center right there. Inland Regional Center, there are a couple of buildings. It's unclear which building as of right now the shooting took place. There are 3 buildings in that area, 3 buildings belonging to the facility. Again, this is an active shooter situation currently. The shooters are still on the loose. There is a golf course nearby. That is what you're looking at. We're being told that no one is being allowed on the golf course. Authorities trying to keep people away from the scene to prevent any possible dangers.
And then they just, walk on by. I think they were
We know that 4 adult patients have been admitted to Loma Linda Hospital so far. The hospital has confirmed that information. We know that school buses, as you see on the screen right here, school buses being loaded and escorted by sheriff's deputies on Waterman. That is the street where this building is located in San Bernardino. We know that there are tents set up outside of Loma Linda University Medical Center. Emergency personnel are standing by for the victims. As of 30 minutes ago, police had not issued any sort of description of these shooters, although recently police have confirmed that there were multiple shooters involved in this shooting. Multiple agencies have responded to the scene, including the FBI and ATF. Many agencies assisting with this investigation. We know that law enforcement personnel are on the scene armed with rifles and wearing protective gear. As of right now, officials have not said how many people were killed or wounded. However, an initial tweet from San Bernardino Fire Department said that 20 victims had been reported. And according to a local news crew on the scene, at least 3 people have been killed. Earlier today, we heard reports of up to 12 people killed. Again, this took place at Inland Regional Center, which serves more than 31,000 people in the area with developmental disabilities in San Bernardino County and neighboring Riverside County. So this is considered the Inland Empire of Southern California, San Bernardino, about 60 miles east of downtown Los Angeles. Now, one man at the scene said his daughter, who works at the center with the mentally disabled, texted him and said that she was hiding in a closet with other people. That man said he was still awaiting a text to make sure that his daughter was okay. We do know that President Obama has been briefed by an advisor about the shooting. The president has asked to stay updated on the shooting as it develops, according to a report from the White House. Now, according to a witness, one shooter made it to the 2nd floor of the building. Again, we are just giving you this information as it becomes available. Much of the information being gathered from local news stations in Los Angeles, local news reporters speaking with witnesses inside the building, near the building. Obviously, a very shocking situation taking place in San Bernardino, California. All right, guys, we're hearing reports from a local station in Los Angeles that there was an event honoring county personnel that was going on in the conference center at the time of the shooting, and that is the room that the shooters had entered. Again, this is information that has also been confirmed by San Bernardino police. According to a San Bernardino police spokeswoman, shooters opened fire in an area where an event was being held at the Inland Regional Center in San Bernardino, California.
All right, everybody. My name is Mike, and I'm here as well with Samia. Samia, this is a crazy story going on here.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate, actually. You know, we hear
Wow.
about these mass shootings all the time, and I know this might sound ignorant, but I guess I was really surprised that it was taking place in Southern California, of all places. You know,
Yep,
a lot of the times we've reported on these shootings in different places around the country, but it doesn't often happen in California. So when we first heard about this story and heard that it was in San Bernardino, I personally was shocked, having lived in Southern California for 10 years.
Sure. I mean, and what's so crazy about, you know, unfortunately we become more accustomed to mass shootings, but to have the suspects on the loose now?
I know.
That's what the most strange part of this story is.
Right, because usually when we're covering these situations,
They'll stay there and just, you know.
Well, like a Friday, for example, when you guys covered the Planned Parenthood shooting, the shooter was inside barricaded.
Yes.
And in other situations, for example, whether it is the Oregon College shooting or any sort of other mass shooting, the gunman ends up taking his life or ends up getting in a shoot-off with police and ends up being killed that way. And, you know, police then issue a statement that there is no longer an active threat.
Yeah.
And in this situation...
Now we got up to 3 suspects on the loose, and who knows what they're going to do.
Right. I mean, we don't know right now. They obviously know that they are being looked for. They were described as wearing tactical gear, masks. If, you know, the shooter is thinking logically, I assume they're removing that clothing immediately.
I think they're going to hit again.
You think they're going to shoot again?
Oh, yeah. They got nothing. I mean, nothing to lose. I mean, you figured they probably went into this knowing that they would have died eventually.
Well,
it's not like I don't think they wanted to do a bang bang. All right, let's peace out and we'll see you next year.
Well, we have to try to figure out now who is responsible, who's behind these shootings, what the motivation was, why they targeted the Inland Regional Center. You know, last week on Friday, when you hear that there is a gunman at Planned Parenthood, you can kind of assume.
Yeah.
You can kind of understand what ideology may have led to that shooting.
Maybe this is one of another soft target.
We don't know. I don't know. We do know, however, that another group was renting out that conference room or had reserved that conference room in the building.
Oh, boy.
So it's unclear whether that group specifically was targeted or if it was just coincidence that they were in that room and that the gunmen picked a room at random.
Well, they had this pretty much mapped out, if you could think. I mean, look how they had a getaway and everything. I mean, it was bang bang out.
Right.
Wow.
And it's very sad. You know, we're hearing reports of up to 20 people wounded. We have confirmed 3 people killed, but now we're hearing from Fox News, from one of our Fox News national reporters, that 12 people are believed to be dead. And
that was the number that was said pretty early on.
Early on. And we know that the media is being moved away from the venue itself.
Boy, this is another. I mean, we were just talking about a shooting scene on Friday, and then not even a week later, we're talking about it again.
It's shocking.
Wow. And look at that other image. You could see it looks like they got all those school buses there to all the because they got to take everybody to another location.
Right.
They got to interview everybody now.
Well, they're taking everyone to another location, and each school bus is being escorted by sheriff's deputies as well to keep them safe. Again, it's still a very active shooter situation. We know that there are multiple shooters involved. We're hearing reports of 3 shooters. There's definitely more than one shooter, and no suspects have been caught as of right now.
Yeah, this is such a very fluid scene, obviously, and, you know, I don't remember a time, though, when we were talking about a mass shooting where you don't know where the guys are.
I know, it's really, really unfortunate. Now, here I'm learning, Kinsey's just messaging us some information. The owner of the building is not sure who rented the room out. He tried to access information on the website, however, the website is down. However, one thing to make note of, the conference center was the only room that was unsecured.
Wow.
So I wonder if that was just the room that they were able to get access
Yeah.
to. And why? Why exactly is Inland Regional Center targeted? And what would motivate these people to do such a thing?
I thought this was really interesting. A tweet was out from a news agency. It says the last time multiple shooter reports during mass shootings in the U.S. turned out to be true, it was Columbine.
Wow. That's so true because we've been
Wow.
covering mass shootings extensively this year, especially. I feel like a week doesn't go by where we don't talk about a mass shooting here on News Now. At least a month doesn't go by
No.
where we don't talk about a mass shooting here on News Now. And sometimes it's stories like this where it's developing throughout the
Sure.
day, and we're following it as it's actually happening.
This is the scary part. I think what's going to happen is what we're going to hear pretty soon is these people that ran away, I think they're going to start up again somewhere.
You think so? Well,
That's
it
the
is
scary
shocking,
part.
though, just the fact that fact that you just shared with us, the fact that the last time it was multiple suspects involved was Columbine, because
Yeah.
so often we hear about these mass shootings.
They're
but
always
it's
lone
usually-
shooters.
Yep, exactly. So this is very concerning, at least here in the United States. Obviously, what happened in France, there were multiple suspects involved in that situation.
Yep,
The parents
yep.
had. But we haven't really seen anything like that here in the United States.
Wow. Just so much to take in here today. Wow.
Now, I want to go ahead and scroll up. I see people in the chat room commenting. Joe Blow saying the Inland Regional Center was targeted because it's called a soft target. It isn't highly guarded and has lots of people inside for maximum carnage. It's a good point.
Yeah,
Joe.
I just
That's
don't
good.
know what's going to happen next, and that's probably the most scariest situation of this. Because when you think about all the other situations, you knew where the people were, like Columbine. You knew they were, Aurora. You knew he was you knew he was there.
But at the time of Columbine, we didn't hear about this kind of stuff every other day or every
No,
week.
no.
It was much more rare.
Oh, sure,
You
sure.
know?
Yeah, now.
And now it just seems like, okay, another shooting that we have to
I know.
cover extensively here on News Now. I mean, you literally were just covering a shooting
On Friday.
on Friday.
Black Friday.
I know.
And now Marcy Jones doing the story today on how Black Friday was the biggest gun sale.
Right. That was in my top 5 earlier.
Wow.
Not only was it the biggest day for gun sales, but the most background checks. A record number of background checks
So
on
people are-
guns were done on Black Friday. I guess people want a discount.
Wow, and this is going to be getting scary for a lot of people that are gun activists because, as you probably can imagine, President Obama is going to come out and talk about guns in America again. And a lot of people always get scared, gun activists, because they think they're going to come and get their guns.
All right, so I'm just getting a message right now from Kim, our web producer. She's seen a number of tweets right now on Twitter about a possible SWAT situation in Pasadena linked to the San Bernardino shooting. Now, for those of you not familiar with the Southern California area, that's about 50 miles away.
Wow.
Pasadena is about 50 miles from San
See?
Bernardino, California. Pasadena, much closer to downtown Los Angeles. San Bernardino is 60 miles east of downtown Los Angeles. I imagine that if these people did flee, they may have escaped, hopped onto a freeway such as the 210 freeway, because the 210 freeway does connect San
Sure.
Bernardino to Pasadena, for those of you that are somewhat familiar with Southern California.
Wow, this is just the...
And look at the number of helicopters at the scene as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
Obviously,
Oh, yeah.
all sorts of people, authorities, agencies responding to the situation, multiple law enforcement agencies.
And if you were in Southern California right now, it's a very scary situation because you're dealing with people that have already taken lives. They're not
Right.
scared to take some more. And this was a very, very orchestrated attack, as you could see here, where they got in and they got out very quickly, and they did crazy damage already. As you can see, people are dead.
Right. And I see that our Fox reporter
Can we go to him?
is speaking live on the scene. Let's go ahead and listen in.
From their family members or loved ones, letting them know that they were okay. And she's relating a story about how they were in a room with a closed door, and a gunman just burst in and started shooting. And that's about all she was able to get. I mean, she just relieved that she got a text that her daughter, in her case, was okay. Yeah, but again, you know, and I know you've been talking about this, you know, when something as chaotic as this, the information is often updated, you know, as we get into it, so we don't want to put any final numbers on that. Yeah, it's still, you know, no, I was just going to say, I mean, it's still relatively quiet and crowded here. I mean, the streets have been shut down maybe a couple of blocks in all directions of the intersection of Orange Show and Waterman. But in addition to the news media, I mean, there's a lot of members of the public that are here sort of standing around, milling around, from whether they came from businesses, whether they were inside the perimeter when all this happened. So again, and I know you and Aaron were talking about this also, I mean, if there's an active shooter on the loose, and this wouldn't be happening like this, because we're only a few blocks away from the scene. Is that a county? No, I'm just trying to figure out what agency this helicopter that's overhead is from. Looks like it's not any familiar markings, but it's got to be a law enforcement helicopter that's just maybe 500 or 600 feet circling above the shooting location, presumably looking for any potential suspects. Do you know what agency that helicopter is up there? You know those? That's San Bernardino County Sheriffs, yeah.
All right, guys. Real quick, we are showing you live aerials again of the Inland Conference Center. That is what you're looking at on the screen right now. We're getting more updates. We know that the president is continuing to receive updates on this situation. The area is very active with cameras. We know that police have numerous images of the vehicle they're looking for. We know that there are reports of an abandoned SUV in Pasadena. However, we are now learning that the Pasadena Mall SUV is no longer considered a threat. It is no longer associated with the mass shooting.
Well, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. And pretty soon we're going to have a press conference of some sorts. So stay right here, folks. This is a very fluid situation. I mean, info is coming in sporadically, as you can imagine. With police are worried about their own agenda here.
So we don't have an official press conference confirmed right now, but we do know there is a podium, and we do know microphones are set up. So it's highly likely that officials will come to that area to brief the media. But as of right now, there's no official word as to if that press conference is actually happening, and if so, when that press conference is happening. So until then,
about 10
we'll
minutes.
Carry those live images, these live aerial images, courtesy of Sky
Absolutely.
Fox.
Wow, can you imagine? You got to give it up to, once again, first responders. They said they had about more than 150 first responders on the scene, and when you look at the scene, it just looks like a total war zone. This is the new America right now. I mean, this is what we're dealing with. We don't know. You can't even enjoy yourselves anymore.
It's scary. It's scary to think that anytime you go to an area that may be crowded, that you're opening yourself up to this sort of threat. And for people who are going to work today, or people, frequenting that center, you don't think that that is a possible target.
Yeah.
You know, authorities, the government, they always warn you. You know, they issued those that travel warning after
Yes.
the Paris attacks, encouraged residents, Americans, to stay away from really crowded areas, popular places. You know, when you think of something like the Super Bowl, for example, you think, okay, maybe that's a target. But you don't think of a place like Inland Regional Center, which
No.
is just there to provide for the community. It's a nonprofit
Yep.
aiding people who are developmentally disabled. You don't expect this kind of thing to happen there.
And I think what they're trying to show us now, these people that did this, is you're not safe anywhere.
Right. I mean, they're terrorizing people.
Oh, yeah.
They are eliciting fear within the general public.
Wow. This is... I don't remember a story where there was a mass shooting and you can't find the people.
You're right. I mean, it is a very complicated situation.
How fast did they have to come in and get out of there? I mean, because didn't they
to not get caught?
Didn't they say a police were very close because they were doing some training?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that police responded rather quickly.
So, wow. I don't know what's going to happen here, but it has to be very scary for everyone that lives around there, knowing that there's at least 3 people heavily armed,
well, we know
ready to kill.
Multiple people, up to 3. I
Up
don't
to
know
3.
if it's more than 3.
Up
At
to 3.
least 2 or 3.
And ready to kill.
When you put it like that, Mike.
Well, they're willing and able.
Yeah, I mean, they're heavily armed. They're wearing the proper protection, the body armor. It is a very...
And look at this. It's the chopper just showing
situation.
just everybody.
Mm-hmm. It is very disappointing.
It's going to be very interesting these next couple hours, as they really can't even really investigate at this point, because, I mean, you got 3 guys that are up to 3 people that are on the loose. So you can't really even look at the scene too much. I'm sure they are, but wow.
Right. And I think you mentioned this. Just want to confirm this. Sheriff's news conference expected at 2:45 Arizona time. So in about 6 minutes, guys, we are expecting a press conference from the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. We know that 1 or more gunmen believed to be wearing military-style gear.
Wow.
They opened fire today.
This
at
was
a
orchestrated.
Southern California Social Services Center, killing an undisclosed number of people and wounding several others. Now, according to one witness, 3 men entered the building. His daughter texted him from the restroom saying shooters were killing her coworkers. That father said, quote, "I couldn't do anything for her."
Wow.
It's really sad. We know that the gunman opened fire on a holiday party that San Bernardino County employees were attending.
See,
on
this
Wednesday.
is way orchestrated. It's going to be interesting. I hope they tell us some big updates at this press conference in just about 5 minutes. You're going to want to definitely keep it right here. We're going to be airing that in less than 5 minutes here, you could see.
Right. Now, according to this father, he said it was like a Christmas party, an award party that we were having. She went to the restroom and she called me. She was huddled up in the restroom and 3 gunmen came in and they started shooting people, colleagues that I work with. Miranda happened to have gone to the restroom before gunfire erupted. She did not see the shooters, but heard the shots. It was really, really super scary, he said. I'm far away. I couldn't do anything for her. Now, apparently this Inland Regional Center in San Bernardino also held a children's Christmas party there yesterday.
Wow,
And
could you imagine?
And they posted pictures that we have access to.
Wow.
So we can go ahead and pull this up for viewers.
Well, thankfully it wasn't yesterday then.
I mean, any day that this is happening.
It's bad enough, yes. It's bad enough that it happens.
So
Could you imagine, everybody?
These photos right here. We have this video right now coming in of the helicopters at the scene of the crime. Again, the shooters involved in this situation have not been caught. Police are looking for 3 shooters.
Up to 3, yeah.
Up to 3 shooters, heavily armed, wearing tactical gear. And it looks like...
You know, when I hear the words tactical gear for these mass shootings, Well, how many years ago was it, though, that bank robbery in L.A. when those two guys were in that tactical gear and they went off for about 30 minutes? How many years ago was that? That has to be at least 20.
I don't remember if it was,
Yeah,
it was 20 years ago. I don't remember.
It was a
this
bank
incident.
robbery in California where these two guys just took control of a situation and just did an ambush. But yeah, we're waiting for this press conference to start up. This is, hopefully we get some updates. I hope it's not as bad as we're hearing.
Right, right.
One person is too many, but hopefully it's not 12.
I know we've heard now that at least 3 people confirmed killed. We are hearing from other sources, the Fox News reporter at the scene, that there were 12 people killed. Again, I'm hoping that authorities will be able to clarify once this news conference begins. I'm assuming that reporters at the scene will be asking these questions. Lots of questions out there right now. All the questions we have, I'm assuming the reporters at the scene have as well.
Yes, and some of the people, I guess it was North Hollywood, 1997 was that shooting. Almost 20 years.
Wow.
Almost 20 years. Wow. So here we are waiting for this conference. Hopefully we get an update.
It's pretty crazy to think about.
Scary day again in America. We're looking at all the streams coming in here. It's just a wow.
Yeah, here's another look, an aerial view at the scene. So we have this vantage point right now. We also have this view of the press conference that is set up. Again, press conference expected around 2:45, so in just a couple minutes we're expected to hear from San Bernardino Sheriff's Police. So, a really sad situation out there in Southern California.
And the killers are still on the loose.
That's right. That's something that we do need to remind people. You know what? I'm going to put our top 5 facts on the screen so viewers can get the gist of what we know so far. Again, police still looking for multiple suspects, a person of interest or people of interest linked to a black SUV.
Wow.
A Yukon. And right now, we have not been given any information that these suspects have been caught. So as far as we know, these suspects are still on the loose.
Definitely a very fluid situation. It's very scary. I just got to give your thoughts to these first responders who probably saw just a horrible, horrible scene. And who knows what's going to happen next? That's what the scary part is.
I want to pull this link.
Yeah, this is good. This is good.
Up. Kinsey just sent this to me in the chat room. It's the presidential candidates reacting to this shooting on Twitter. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up for you guys so we can go ahead and take a look at it right now. All right, guys, here it is. Hillary Clinton saying, I refuse to accept this as normal. We must take action to stop gun violence now. Donald Trump saying, California shooting looks very bad. Good luck to law enforcement and God bless. This is when our police are so appreciated. Bernie Sanders saying, mass shootings are becoming an almost everyday occurrence in this country. This sickening and senseless gun violence must stop. Ted Cruz saying, our prayers are with the victims, their families, and the first responders in San Bernardino who willingly go into harm's way to save others. Governor Chris Christie saying, praying for all those victimized by the shootings in San Bernardino, California today. Martin O'Malley saying, horrifying news out of San Bernardino. Enough is enough. It's time to stand up to the NRA and enact meaningful gun safety laws. Meanwhile, Jeb Bush tweeting, praying for the victims, their families, and the San Bernardino first responders in the wake of this tragic shooting. Dr. Ben Carson saying, my thoughts and prayers are with the shooting victims and their families in San Bernardino. And Governor Mike Huckabee saying, praying for those impacted by the shooting in California today. What's interesting is as the shooting was unfolding, Hillary Clinton happened to be talking about gun control, which is a standard part of her speech. Here is some text from her speech saying, I'll tell you what it also means standing up to the gun lobby. The gun lobby, 90 Americans a day die from gun violence, homicide, suicide, tragic, avoidable accidents. 33,000 Americans a year die. It's time for us to say we are going to have comprehensive background checks. We are going to close the gun show loopholes. We're going to close the online gun loophole. We're going to close the Charleston loophole and the immunity for the gun makers and sellers. And listen to this. This is what gets me. You know what I just outlined? All of that is supported by 92% of Americans, and more importantly, 83% of gun owners support that agenda because they want to be responsible and not let guns fall into the wrong hands.
Just a very, very scary situation in California, and it's still unfortunately evolving. This is a story that you never want to have to report on, and boy, our thoughts are with everyone that is affected here.
And we're going back to our aerial images courtesy of Skyfox. You can see the buildings at the Inland Regional Center in San Bernardino, California. There are multiple floors involved. According to one witness, one gunman made it to the second floor is what we're being told. Obviously, different witnesses experienced different accounts of the shooting. We know multiple people were killed. Do not have any official numbers right now. We know at least 3 people were dead. A local news crew on the scene counted 3 bodies that they themselves saw. Again, as far as suspects are concerned, we know that police are looking for about 2 or 3 shooters involved in this tragic situation.
Very tragic, and I'm scared that it might not be over. I mean, when you look at these images, these aerials, it really does look like a war zone. And we're just about minutes away from this press conference. Hopefully we'll get some more info here for you.
Here's an interesting fact as well. Gun safety has been a big issue, obviously, on the campaign trail. The Washington Post reported on Friday that more mass shootings had occurred than days in a year. 351 mass shootings in 334 days.
See, this is... And folks, we're just minutes away from a press conference where we're hoping to get more information here for you. Obviously a very fluid situation today that has been happening and still happening in California, where on any given day something like this can happen. This is the new America.
Also, we are learning that Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, is going to address the San Bernardino shooting at the top of the Capitol Christmas tree lighting ceremony around 3:15 Arizona time. So in about 25 minutes or so, we should be hearing from Paul Ryan as well regarding this tragedy in Southern California.
You know, the scariest part probably isn't that this happened. That's not the scary part. The scary part now is that we got up to 3 people on the loose, heavily armed, and they're ready to kill, possibly again. And when you think about that, that is the scariest situation. That we're dealing with a mass shooting now where the suspects are on the run. And it looks like we're getting close to this press conference coming up. So hopefully in the next couple of minutes we'll go right to that and be able to update you. Let's show it to you here. As you can see, there's a podium ready for officials.
All right, guys, we are now learning that federal law enforcement sources are saying that they do believe that the target was the group that rented the room out for the Christmas party.
Very interesting. Now we're going to want to know what group this was.
And why they would be targeted.
So aggressively.
Again, a press conference. Supposed to start any minute now, guys. Again, you see the journalists on the scene waiting for authorities to arrive. All the mics have been set up. We should be hearing something.
Here we go.
Authorities are walking.
Chief of Police and also the San Bernardino County Sheriff is coming in right now. They're moving up to the podium at this point.
Hi there, I am Lieutenant Brad Toms with the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Public Affairs Division. I'd just like to provide you with a telephone number in the event that you have information for investigative leads. The number that will be manned by the Sheriff's Department will be 1-866-346-7632. You can also call 1-800-78-CRIME if you wish to remain anonymous. I'll make a couple of quick introductions. We have Chief Jared Berguan from the San Bernardino Police Department standing here to my right. Sheriff John McMahon to my left here, and the Assistant Director in charge of the LA Office of FBI, David Bowditch. Ready. David. With that, I will hand it over to Chief Berguan.
Afternoon, everybody. So this originally started off at 11 o'clock late this morning, early afternoon. We received a call here at the Inland Regional Center 1400 block of South Waterman of a shooting. It was quickly apparent that we had what amounted to an active shooter situation. There was a massive law enforcement response that initially was officers from our department that responded, and then very quickly as word spread through the region, we had a massive mutual aid response from virtually every law enforcement agency in the immediate area, to include the Sheriff's Department, Colton Police Department, Fontana Police Department, the California Highway Patrol, Probation Department, Parole. A number of agencies responded. What we have so far is information that up to 3 people had entered the building and had opened fire on people inside of the building. We do have some preliminary numbers of upwards of 14 people that are dead and upwards of 14 people that are injured. We think those are pretty reliable, but keep in mind those are potentially subject to change. They are preliminary numbers. The 14 that are wounded have been taken to various area hospitals. In addition to the law enforcement response, there was a massive medical aid response from San Bernardino City Fire Department, other area fire departments, as well as the ambulance American Medical Response. As officers initially arrived on scene, they went into the active shooter protocols, the things that we trained for. They immediately entered the building in search of the suspects. Initial information is that the suspects were potentially still inside of the building. It is a massive facility, employs several hundred people, and it's taken a long time to clear the building. In fact, I think we still have assets inside that are completing that clearing process. Information that I think is probably the most reliable at this point is that the suspects have fled, potentially in a dark-colored SUV. We do not have any identification on who those suspects are. We do not know what the motive is for the shooting at this point. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to the Sheriff for a couple of comments.
Thank you, Chief. We're working closely with the San Bernardino Police Department in a unified command, as well as our federal partners, to make sure that we have the resources we need to thoroughly investigate this event. Our officers are working hand in hand with members of the San Bernardino Police Department, as well as the other agencies, to search the building as the Chief indicated. That search is still ongoing. We have also, because of the information that the suspects may have fled the area, we have also shut down and locked down the courts and the local city and county buildings in the general area around San Bernardino. We have an increased law enforcement presence at all the high-profile areas, including hospitals. We've been in contact with the school district and their school police chief to take care of the school side of things. We continue to make sure that we do everything we can to keep the public safe. We've been in contact with the Board of Supervisors. They've pledged their full support and the resources that they have to help solve this as well. We will work together to investigate this case once the scene is secure and work hand in hand with the City of San Bernardino as we do in other high-profile events. I'll now have Dave Bowditch, Assistant Director of the FBI, say a few words.
Thank you, Sheriff. The FBI is here with our state and local partners, as well as our partners from the ATF, and we are here to essentially assure that all the wounded are extracted, and ultimately public safety is the #1 goal at this point. And we will work as a law enforcement community to assure that we have done everything we can in our power to find, locate, and apprehend these subjects. At this point, I know one of your questions is going to be, is this a terrorist incident? I will tell you right now, we do not know if this is a terrorist incident. So we start from the beginning, working with all our local partners. We take the presumption that it may be, it may not be, but we will work hand in hand with them from the beginning. If things change, we are here from the get-go, and there is no steps lost as the investigation proceeds. At this point, I'm going to turn it back over to the Chief.
So very quickly, after the initial response, we have several hundred people that were in the building that are not injured. Those people have been taken to a safe location, and they are part of the investigation. In addition to that, we know that this is a human incident, and this is a tragedy. And we know we've got a lot of folks out there that are very concerned and very worried about their loved ones that may have been at that facility today. We've set up an area at the Hernandez Center at the corner of 3rd and Sierra Way here in the city of San Bernardino for family members to go for information. We will push information out to that for those family members as we can. Also, the Sheriff's Department put out the crime tip hotline number. If anybody has any information, we'd very much like to hear from you. So with that, I will take a couple of questions. Start with Rob.
Do you have any information on this event that was happening, that apparently these upwards of 3 gunmen stormed in?
I don't. I've heard everything, that it was a meeting to a potential like a lunch type gathering, maybe for the holidays. That's not confirmed. That is very preliminary. It's my understanding that most of the people that were wounded, most of the victims, were all centrally located in one area of the facility.
Have any weapons or body armor, anything like that, been recovered?
In terms of the employees, it's my understanding this facility has both state and county employees, as well as folks that work for a number of organizations. The Inland Regional Center serves a number of organizations that treat mental illness type issues and that sort of stuff. I don't have any idea. I know that state and local county employees work there. I do not know if any of them are the victims or who they are at this point.
Do we know if any children are among the victims?
I do not have any information that any children were involved.
On the weapons used and the number of people involved here, given what you have in the way of evidence, witness accounts, and everything else, would you characterize this as an organized event? What were these men using and shooting at people with?
Preliminary information indicates that these are people that came prepared, that they were dressed and equipped in a way to indicate that they were prepared, and they were armed with long guns, not handguns. I do not know what type of long guns.
How were they dressed?
I don't know.
Have any of those weapons been recovered here at the scene?
We do not have any weapons recovered at this point.
What were they wearing that indicates they were prepared?
Left just a little bit. There's a shadow. Thank you.
Sorry.
Hey, Chief, can I ask for clarification? You said upwards of 14 dead. What does upwards mean?
The preliminary number we have right now is that there are 14 people that are deceased, and our count is another 14 people that have been taken to hospitals for significant injuries potentially related to gunshots. We also have a number of other people that may have had some minor types of injuries. They fell down in the course of fleeing or something of that nature, but roughly about 14 that we believe are wounded.
Have security cameras inside the building where it might give you video evidence of what happened?
I would imagine there are, but we're not that far into the investigation yet.
Chief, we're live on KTLA. Would you mind repeating the nuts and bolts again? We're live on the air right now.
The whole thing? I think let's fix.
Don't worry about it.
The building is still being searched. Is there the possibility that there are more deceased or wounded inside of that regional center?
I think that could be a possibility, yes. I don't think we're comfortable saying no at this point.
Have the bomb technicians recovered anything which is or looked like an IED inside the building?
As the teams were going through and searching for the suspects and searching for victims, there were some things in the building that were not immediately identifiable that caused them some concern. As a result of that, we do have some bomb techs that are on site that are checking some of that out. I do not know if they were brought in by the suspects. We do not know if they are bombs of any sort, just simply things that as our teams were moving through said that needs to be looked at a little bit more closely.
No render safes at this point. They haven't taken anything apart and destroyed anything.
I don't have any information on that.
Have you found any vehicles that
Step to the left. One step to the left, please. Thank you.
Have you found any vehicles that you believe are related to this event or left anywhere nearby?
Not that I know of at this point.
Have witnesses said the gunman said anything? Did they say anything?
We don't have anything specific from those witnesses. We're in the early stages of talking to them.
Are there any other active scenes at this point?
This is the only active scene that we're working.
What about security tape that may have been shot inside?
That is part of the investigation. I just don't have that at this point.
Can you talk about the suspect's vehicle, that darker SUV? Can you talk about that at all?
That's all we have. Very, very generic. Upwards of 3 suspects. Darker SUV that fled.
Suspects wearing camouflage?
I've never heard camouflaged.
What were they wearing?
Just to be clear, upwards of 3. Does that mean there could be more than 3?
I have repeatedly been told the number is 3, but keep in mind that this is information that is flowing in as people are talking to witnesses very quickly. As we put everything together, some of this may change. We know these are fluid situations, and some of the information we put out now may change a little bit in the future.
Is there any description about these guys? Any description about these suspects?
As far as people in the area, we're doing everything we can to keep this area safe. We are addressing other facilities in the area that we think may be similar or may be similar, but we don't have any information or any credible threats to any other facilities at this point. But obviously we're all on a heightened sense of alert. We would ask the public that they be on a heightened sense of alert, that they're watching out for those things, and if they come across information, contact us and let us investigate it.
Suspects at all, sir?
I put out what I have, just 3. We don't.
Wearing masks, Chief, the gunman.
One report I heard is masks were involved, but I don't know that to be definitive at this point.
Do you have any active leads you're pursuing for them right now?
Yes.
Chief,
not going to talk about it.
Did the gunman say anything at all during the attack, during the shooting?
Not that I'm aware of.
Any sort of threats made prior to this incident?
I don't. That's part of the investigation. We're not going to talk specifically about that right now.
Hey, Chief, I'm not a media person, but I'm a United States veteran. And I just want to say thank you to you, to the fellow agencies, all the chiefs, all the fire chiefs and everything for your guys' response. I appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
How long did the attack last? Do you have any idea how long it lasted?
A few minutes.
Yes or no?
Based on how well armed you think these suspects are,
Yes.
what are you responding? How are you equipping your people in the field?
Well, our people in the field go into the field with what they have. We have a number of officers that have high caliber weapons. They carry assault rifles with them. Most of the officers carry handguns. The officers that arrived on scene and did the initial work to go into that building and clear it went in with what they had. So,
do you know where the suspects are? I know you've been searching for them for the last hours.
We do not know where the suspects are.
Chief, can you talk about the FBI? How is the FBI getting involved in this? And if there's somebody, a representative, maybe they want to talk in detail.
Well, we know historically that some of these investigations can turn into a potential federal prosecution type thing. At this point, we don't know that to be the case, but it's better to have them on scene from the very beginning so they know what we know and they are an active part of the investigation. In addition to that, being from the federal government, they bring to the table tremendous resources to help us in doing our job.
Especially when it comes to terrorism, can you talk about that?
We have no information at this point to indicate that this is terrorist related in the traditional sense that people may be thinking. Obviously, at minimum, we have a domestic terrorist type situation that occurred here.
Any description at all? White, black,
We don't.
in the sense that they had training, that they might have that they had training. In other words, that they.
The only thing I'm comfortable saying at this point is that the information we have is that they came prepared to do what they did, as if they were on a mission.
How long were they inside shooting?
I don't know specifically. Several minutes.
Were the gunmen still there when the police arrived, when the initial responding officers arrived?
Well, we don't know. We did not. Our police officers have not engaged or exchanged gunfire with anybody, but we don't know if they were on scene when we arrived.
I don't know if you still covered this or not, but were the vast majority of the dead and wounded in one centralized location within the facility?
In the same general area of the facility.
Are we making an assumption, and I'm sorry if it's an assumption here, Chief, that they had targeted that particular room, those particular people?
I think we're a little too early in the investigation to even make that assumption. We don't know what the motive is at this point.
Hostages at any time? Were people tied up? Were they held in a room and told, or was it just a shootout?
We don't have any information that they took any hostages.
What kinds of weapons do you use? Or could you describe what kinds of weapons they use? Sorry.
Long guns is what I've been told. I think there's people that speculate what type of long guns those are, but I don't want to put out a specific type of gun. I'm just going to say it was a long gun, not a handgun.
What about their behavior made it seem like they were on a mission?
They came in with a purpose. They came in with the intent to do something.
Was there any threat made to this facility prior to this incident?
I don't have specifics on that.
Did anyone recognize?
So with that, we're gonna cut this off. We will be back every hour on the hour to provide an update. Even if we don't have anything specifically, we will come back to you every hour on the hour, at least for the next several hours, to provide an update.
At the top of the hour. Chief.
At the top of the hour is fine.
Your name, Chief?
Jared Burguan, B-U-R-G-U-A-N. Thank you. Let me show off to the side.
How we take that would have been deadly. You know, I always hate having to come out to see you under these circumstances.
It's better than my guys being in trouble.
Sir? Yes, sir. What was your allies? Okay, what is it? Brad, B-R-A-D? Brad. Chip, T-O-M-S. And you're a special agent? No, I'm a lieutenant in San Bernardino, Public Affairs.
And so that comma didn't raise no fool.
We don't know.
Stay here and see. Let's stay here and see if anybody else pops up. If we overhear anything else during this press conference, sometimes the reporter will break in. of what we know today.
Three guys semi-automatic weapons, multiple magazines, targeted one location.
The cable for here.
All right, so let's break into what we know, and I think I might need to change this because I believe I overheard 14 wounded, 14 people dead, but let's look back at some of the information that we had earlier today. This happened at approximately, I believe, between 11 and 11:30 in the morning at this San Bernardino, California location. We reported 12 dead. Then we had confirmed 3 dead. Now we're hearing confirmed 14 and upwards of 14 individuals dead. And we suspect that means of the individuals that have been injured and taken to hospitals, some of them might not make it. I don't believe this is considered an active shooting situation any longer, but the suspects are still, technically, on the loose. A black SUV, a black Yukon SUV vehicle was seen leaving the location shortly after the shots were heard in the building and people were seen fleeing from the venue. It just feels like there's not a lot we don't know. We don't know the race of the individuals. We don't know how many individuals that they're looking for. We've heard from between 1 to 3 suspects. They're wearing tactical gear. We know that. We don't know if they're actually in that SUV. And we've heard different stories. We've heard it confirmed through sources that the target was this group that rented the conference room for a Christmas party, but you just heard the police officer say it was too early in the investigation to say if they believed that this group was specifically targeted. However, it was clear that these gunmen did have an agenda, and it was a planned agenda. Another confusing story or aspect of the story we've heard today is that there was a suspicious device within the building. So the police cleared out the building, detonated the device, but they won't tell us if it was a bomb or not. So I'm confused as to how you can detonate something and them not know what the actual item is. So I'm confused. That's one of the aspects of the story I don't quite comprehend. But we don't know a lot, and we do know a little, basically, to recap what's going on today. They did say that the suspects were wearing masks and tactical gear. And hold on, I think I might be getting breaking news. I just heard a beep. I know that they did lock down several schools nearby just as a precaution. We have another presser scheduled in the next 45 minutes. They're going to touch base with us again. One moment. So I do believe we're taking KABC helicopter images, and it is important that I tell you that we are taking KABC helicopter images. I know that you've probably heard this earlier, but one horrific story we heard from within the building, a man was texting with his daughter from the restroom. Let's see, what was his name? Let me look for it here. Her name is Miranda. His name is Stute. What's his first name? It was like a Christmas party, an award party they were having, Stute said. She was in the restroom and called me. She was huddled up in the restroom, and 3 gunmen came in, and they started shooting people, calling colleagues that I work with. Miranda happened to have gone to the restroom before gunfire erupted, Stute said. She did not see the shooters but heard the shots, he said. It was really, really super scary, he said, audibly crying. I'm far away. I couldn't do anything to help her. And I don't know if it's the same daughter, but one young woman sent her father a text message from within the building that said, "Please pray for us." As many as 3 gunmen wearing heavy armor burst into a conference room at a social service center today and opened fire, killing at least 14 people and injuring more than a dozen before fleeing in a dark-colored SUV. Police Chief Jared Burgeon tells reporters that the killers walked into the meeting room in an at the Inland Regional Center, began shooting and fled quickly. The people were prepared, dressed, and equipped to get away, he said. He said at least 14 people were killed and 14 injured, but that those figures could change. Police said all county buildings in the area were shut down while they searched for the killers. Witnesses reported shooters with rifles wearing ski masks and military-style vests. Mary Beth Field, president and CEO of the Inland Regional Center, said the incident took place in a conference area that a county group was renting. He said about 25 employees work in the building that also contains a library. Many of the injured were taken from the building on stretchers and strapped into gurneys. According to the Loma Linda University Medical Center emergency hotline, 4 adult victims of the shooting had arrived at the hospital and 3 more were on the way. Police were also investigating a suspicious device at the scene, which is near a golf course. Marcos Aguilera's wife was in the building when the gunfire erupted. He said a shooter entered the building next to his wife's office and opened fire. They locked themselves in her office. They saw bodies on the floor, Aguilera said, according to his wife, adding that his wife saw ambulances taking people out of the building on stretchers. Terry Petit said he got a text from his daughter saying she was in hiding after gunfire erupted at the social services facility where she worked. Petit choked back tears as he read the text for reporters outside the center. He said she wrote, "People shot in the office waiting for cops. Pray for us." Also, it was a different daughter. "Pray for us. I am locked in an office." San Bernardino police radio reports said SWAT teams were on the scene and that officers were preparing to accept around 30 hostages who were set to come out of the building at the site. San Bernardino is located about 60 miles east of Los Angeles. Authorities said the shooting took place at the Inland Regional Center, which provides services for people with development disabilities. According to its Facebook page, 670 Inland Regional Center staff members provide services to more than 30,000 people in Riverside and San Bernardino counties. The center's clients range from toddlers to seniors. A woman that manages... we are expecting Paul Ryan to